Its head was big and egg-shaped, like those stereotypical gray aliens. Far too big for its tiny, slender body.
Hey, spooky siblings. Scary. Monsters are real. Ghosts are real too. They live inside us.
Hey, spooky siblings. Welcome to Wicked Wednesday, Spooktober edition. My name is Red, and this is Left on Red. Halloween is upon us, so to celebrate the spooky season, Polty and I bring you a variety of true, spine-chilling, scary stories featuring the Mothman. Story number 1. I have my share of believable creepy stuff that happened to me, but this is paranormal-ish, and I'm always somewhat uneasy about sharing it because, as a skeptic, I would normally call the story BS. Just like my parents and friends would tell me. I was always the kid that made up stories, but this one is real. I shared my room with my sister around the age of 7, but she was off at a sleepover party the night it happened. As a kid, I was terrified of a lot of things. I'd never seen anything close to a horror film, not even The Nightmare Before Christmas, because of how jumpy I was. So naturally, the dark freaked me out. I was really nightmare prone, which caused everyone to say this was a dream later. But this was different. It was more vivid, too realistic to be a dream. I was hiding under my sheets like the cowardly kid I was when I decided to poke my head out to get some cool air. And I saw something in my room. Something clearly not human. I called it an alien at the time because that's the closest thing my horror-ignorant mind would liken it to. Now, I see it was more similar to the rake or the Mothman. Its head was big and egg-shaped, like those stereotypical gray aliens. Far too big for its tiny, slender body. It was totally naked, pale gray or ashen white skin. The lack of light made it hard to tell. All the bones were visible. Its hands were way too big for the toothpick-like arms. It was standing at a really unnatural angle. Its eyes were totally black and shiny. Seemed to be the only feature on its weird head and were sunken in little red holes. Most unsettling of all, it was just staring at me. After a few seconds of being completely paralyzed in fear, I pulled the covers back up over my head. What else could I do? I stayed there for the rest of the night until I fell asleep. I know this thing wasn't human. I told my parents the next day and they said I was dreaming. I made up a lot of stories back then. I remembered a lot of them vividly, and the rest of my childhood is really, really hazy. But seeing that thing in my room is one of the childhood memories that stuck with me the most. I have no idea what it was. And despite my fascination with horror movies, I don't think I want to know.
It's a bird. It's a plane. Nah, just good old Mothman. Speaking of which, can I tell a Mothman story too?
Go for it, Polty dear.
Story number 2. One night, I was driving home from my then-girlfriend's house. I was crossing a bridge and saw the figure of a man standing at the edge. It was around 1 or 2 in the morning, but I didn't really think too much of it. I veered over to give him plenty room, and he turned towards me. His skin was pure white, and when his eyes locked onto mine, I felt a horrible feeling of terror sweep over my body. He jumped off the bridge, and I saw a white streak fly away from where he jumped. I drive over that same bridge every time I'm home from college, and I've never seen him or felt the same since. I've told this story to a couple of people, and a few have also told me they experience weird stuff in that same area. I don't normally believe in anything supernatural, but I don't have any rational explanation for what I know I saw and felt. Over to you, Red.
Story number 3. When I was about 13, my mom and dad invited our previous neighbors from the block of flats we lived in until I was 5 years old. Anyway, I had been sent to bed but could hear everyone talking about this and that, until the woman neighbor said, "Hey, Opie's mom, do you remember when Opie used to complain that there was someone in his room? Well, there's a family that's just moved into the floor above who have a 3-year-old son. He is complaining of the exact same thing Opie did." This creeped me out. I had no recollection of any of this. So the next day, I asked my mom. Her first reaction was, "You don't remember?" Then she told me all about the weird stuff that used to happen. Footsteps up and down the hall, stuff going missing, etc. She said the final thing to happen was when she was listening to a record one day and it started to slow down, like someone was holding a finger gently on the platter till it finally came to a stop. My mom said she snapped at this point and started shouting, "Will you leave us the frick alone?" As soon as she said this, the record went straight back to playing normally, and we never experienced anything again. I have never experienced anything like that since.
Can we take a moment and acknowledge how badass Opie's mom is? Every day we read stories of parents ignoring paranormal activity, and then there's Opie's mom. She not only noticed it, but also told whatever it was to cut it out. Polty salutes you, ma'am.
And that was Wicked Wednesdays. Stay tuned for more Spooktober specials. My name is Red, and this is Left on Red. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and press the bell notification button so that you get notified every time Polty and I upload a new video. Until next time.